Are the results from match day 3 of Kenya Cup. So right now, I want us to shift gears. I want us to get into this afternoon's conversation, and it's all about mixed martial arts. Yesterday, we had the local fight night, and this took place at Kayole, and we have the champions in studio. We'll be speaking to them in a bit, but I want us to speak to the man that ensured that this came to fruition. I want us to talk about how the local fight night came into being and what is the future of mixed martial arts in Kenya. I'm now joined by Stephen Omwengu. Welcome to Scoreline, Stephen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, let's begin with yesterday's event. This is Local Fight Night 2. How can you summarize yesterday's event?
Okay, thanks for the opportunity to invite me to the studio. Before I sum up yesterday's event, I would like to give a brief definition of actually mixed martial arts.
Yes.
You know, mixed martial arts is a new concept in Kenya, and it's a combat sport that actually entails grappling, striking, and ground fighting. And it also employs techniques from various mixed martial arts disciplines, which actually put together. The fighters are put in training so that they are given the new techniques. So that sums up the mixed martial arts. LFNE came into the local scenes from sometime last year.
Yes.
When we started with the LFNE1, we held our first championship, and our training base was at Kayole. We held the first championship at Kayole 2 Community Center, and the event was successful, where we crowned our first champion, who is called Young Master, Moha. And then from that, we started putting into effect for the LFNE2, which was held yesterday. Before that, the preparations for LFNE2 were quite not so difficult from LFNE1, because it was more or less learning from the mistakes that we did, and being a new concept in Kenya. In line with the preparations for LFNE2, we had actually to look around and say, how do we make the sport more acceptable and to reach more people? That's why we signed a media agreement with one of the local TV stations, KUTV, and they aired the event live yesterday. So yesterday's event had 6 bouts in total. We had 2 exhibition matches, 2 non-title events, and 2 title events. From the title events for LFNE2, we introduced a ladies category, where we crowned our first LFNE ladies champion, local champion.
Yes.
And the event, generally speaking, was a success, so to say.
Yes. Now, of course, you're saying the second edition was a success. You introduced, ladies into ladies category into this. But let me get your input. How has the reception been on the ladies' side?
The reception is quite overwhelming, so I can say, because mixed martial arts is actually associated with, by many people, they think it's a violent sport that ladies are not able to participate in. We want to actually remove that notion that anybody doing mixed martial arts, or other martial arts as a discipline, they are trained to go and fight randomly and all that, so it's a sport that is dangerous. No, mixed martial arts is a very, very friendly sport, and if you are able to watch and check what our event was like yesterday, you will come to actually agree with me that ladies were enjoying themselves in the ring. They were not struggling, they were not straining, they had undergone strict, good training, and they were happy about the whole concept. Yes.
What can you say about the growth of this sport in the country? I mean, it has not been in the country for a long period. I think 2-3 years down the line, that is when it was introduced in Kenya. What can you say about the strides you've made?
So far, when mixed martial arts was, it was a challenging concept to actually introduce to the local scene, because people do not really know about mixed martial arts. We only know of UFC, for those of us who are fans of UFC. We have the likes of Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, people who have actually put Africa in the world stage of LFNE, of mixed martial arts.
Yes.
So for LFNE, it came in as a local platform for the fighters in the local scenes. Because Kenya has very good fighters.
Yes.
For those of us who have done basics of martial arts, myself, I'm a trained martial artist. I've actually done taekwondo and a bit of boxing. I lacked the opportunity back then when I started training. So we always know that when you're training martial arts in Kenya, it's purely for self-defense. We want to kill that notion. We can get people earning from mixed martial arts.
Now that you've mentioned about, you know, the likes of Usman and the likes of Adesanya, they are Nigerians who are very good in UFC. We've been watching them and their bouts. Adesanya was in action last week. And Kenyans will want to know, do we have the potential, you know, to get our fighters into that level?
Definitely we do. When we started, I was a bit worried that are we really going to get the fighters to match the likes of Adesanya and Usman? But when we held our first event, the fighters who turned up before the event for requesting to get trained, to be incorporated to LFNE, to be fighters, they were actually very good. We held the first event, and after watching what the fighters did, our champion here, Moha, I can tell you, if Dana White is watching, the president of UFC, we have our fighter local fight night champion called Moha. Schedule for us, give him a chance, let him fight. He's a good guy, he's a good fighter, and of international standards. And from yesterday's event, we actually, from the first one, we didn't have a cage. This time we introduced a cage that meets the world standards, and it was very nice, and the fighters enjoyed themselves. Yes, I can say locally, Kenya, we have the potential to grow the sport, and that will come from the fans, the local people, the local sports associations. They can actually come and support our talent.
Yes, of course, speaking about us supporting our talent. Now, you started an initiative called Adopt a Fighter. Can you explain to us why should we adopt a fighter, and is it all about defense, or what is it about?
The concept of adopting a fighter came about when we were actually having a press briefing at KUTV. What happened is that we wanted to see, like, how do we push our fighters? You know, when LFNE came into the scenes, the whole concept was to grow the fighters, the local fighters. We want fighters from all counties to tap into LFNE. Now, how do we get these people? LFNE on its own cannot stand alone and say we are able to support all the talent in Kenya. We will not be able to do that. How do we go into it? Now, we already have our champions. We already have fighters already training. We will be sharing them in our social media and everywhere. So if you want the concept of how the concept of adapting a fighter works, this is how it works. When you say adapt a fighter, you're not adapting this fighter to be your son, daughter. No. By adapting a fighter, we mean you can get one fighter, watch their match. You can watch the events that have already passed. Then you like Champ Moha. Well, how do you adapt Champ Moha? When you want to keep Champ Moha in training, because they have to be paid to train, to maintain, to retain his belt. He needs resources, he needs all that. So what you'll do is basically send any amount to pay bill number 4045269. Then the account name, write the name of the fighter you are adapting.
So it's basically about you know, supporting these fighters financially. Briefly, before we take a break and I let you go, what is the future? What does the future hold for this sport?
The future for the sport is quite bright. You know, as I earlier mentioned, what we are doing is when we introduced and we signed a media partnership with our local partners at KUTV, we discussed extensively how do we grow this sport so that it reaches many people out there. Now, this is what we are going to do with the future. The future is what we are doing is we've already started with LFNE series, which is already running, and we'll be having our LFNE series after every 2 months. Dates will be communicated. We already have a date for our next LFNE 3, which will be on 15th of May, probably at KU. But the venue will be communicated on our social media platforms, and it will reach out to so many guys. Then we also want to raise the point of the next will be the Nairobi series, which will mainly be held on a monthly basis for the inception stage. Once the Nairobi series are done, once they are picked, this is to cover all the fighters that we intend to enroll to LFNE. So then we'll come up with our ultimate. We want to get a TLUF, which means the local fight night ultimate fighter. So how are we going to get our local ultimate fighter?
Yes.
We are going to request fighters from all counties to register with LFNE. The registration process is actually simple. You send a registration fee of about 500 shillings to pay bill number 4045-269. Then after you've done that, the account should be LFN. Then you introduce yourself. Then you send your clip of you training in any gym, any mixed martial arts discipline, boxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. You send that clip to the number 0795-980808. Then we'll go through all those clips that we'll have received. Then we shortlist all the fighters who have the potential. Then we bring them at our training camp in Nairobi. We nurture them for a month or two so that we make sure that they are ready for the fight to face what will be ahead of them. Once we've trained them, then we'll hold that event that the dates will be actually communicated.
Yes.
Then that way we'll get our local ultimate fighter.
Of course, looking forward to that. Thanks a lot. That is Stephen Omwengu from Local Fight Night. Remember, yesterday we had Local Fight Night 2 taking place in Nairobi, and we'll be looking forward to see what the fighters have in store in Local Fight Night 3. As he said, the series is coming up. So we take a short break. When we come back, we'll be speaking to the fighters themselves from LFN 2 that took place yesterday. They are in studio. They will be telling us why they decided to get into mixed martial arts. That will be after the break.